Live from P&D Studios, it's This Week Live with Rocky Red Panda. This week's the good, the bad, and the special guest Chris Lumzer. And here's your host, Rocky Red Panda. Welcome everyone, welcome to This Week Live. I am Rocky Red Panda. So I'm glad you are here on the somewhat spring-like Sunday. Actually, it is raining, and it's going to be raining all day, so, what can I say? But it's also the start of March Madness, which could also describe all of 2020. So to the teams that are playing this year, and to those that I made a crappy bracket for, yes, I think only one advanced, maybe not even that, I hope you all win. But speaking of winning, I couldn't be prouder that we now have our first out transgender federal official, Dr. Rachel Levine, as Assistant Health Secretary. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's been a long and hard road through rain, sleet, snow, Pennsylvanians like myself, and Rand Paul. But you did it. So, congratulations to Dr. Rachel Levine, not just from a fellow Pennsylvanian who supported you, but from This Week Live and P&D Studios. Congratulations, Dr. Rachel Levine. So, spring has finally arrived, and the vaccines and COVID are blooming. But to discuss all of this and other news from this past week, let's jump right into this week's The Good, the Bad, and the... That's where we poke fun at some of this week's news. And yes, all politics are still on the table. So, this week, we'll be tossing a card for the Main Street Waynesboro Comic Convention, which is happening April the 9th and the 10th. Yours truly will be there set up with his merchandise, so stop by to check me out with P&D Studios. I'll be there only on the 10th, however, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Actually, I won't be there in person, but I have two really good people you've seen on our show that will be manning my booth for me. Josue and Sasha, the Princess of Darkness. So yes, it's gonna be fun. So definitely check them out. You can find out more information about the convention by visiting their Facebook page at Main Street Waynesboro Comic Convention. Yes, I'll have that link down in the About Me section. Actually, that was a good toss. Wow. It went out the window. It's gone. Home run! So, Biden promised 100 billion shots in 100 days. Last week, he fulfilled that goal in 58 days. Our president is on a winning streak here, folks. Yes, he is. Let's take him to a Trump casino together. Oh, that's right. It was imploded a few weeks back. But Biden later announced, oh, hey, let's gamble. I'm feeling lucky. 200 million shots within his first 100 days? Sure. I think we can do this. And if it fails, we can blame the fail because of the stairs. And yes, folks, he's okay. But did you notice that he had no toilet paper on his shoes? Yes, yeah. I mean, That's moving on up to this side. Yeah. So, of course, with the vaccines being rolled out ahead of schedule, COVID restrictions in some states are lifting, not including the states of Texas, Iowa, South Carolina, Florida, and Montana, just to name a few. All because they decided to go Wild Wild West on their states, which we all know is not a good thing, but that's also a horrible movie. Yeah, I mean, just take a look at Miami, Florida. Yes, it's Attack of the COVID Spring Breakers. The beaches are alive with COVID. And no, that's not the sound of music you are hearing. That's the sound of rambunctious college-age kids shouting, "Take it off!" Which means, in the age of COVID, oh, my mask? Yes, I'll do a little striptease with my mask. So the Miami Beach mayor imposes emergency curfew over spring break chaos. An 8 p.m. to 6 p.m. curfew, or as they say in the Hunger Games, may the odds be forever in your favors. He says it feels like a rock concert, wall-to-wall people over blocks and blocks. Well, guess what? It didn't work. If you want to end a party, just bring in a bunch of senior citizens and the party will be over just as quick as the 50% off at the Tapioca Pudding Barn. Now, while all this is happening, it is to no surprise that new COVID cases are on the rise, but the states are opening up anyways. I know you're exhausted, and I know you're tired, but please, give it some time. We will get back to normal faster than you can say, "Welcome to Miami. May I take your mask, sir?" So this past week was another grim week for America. We had multiple mass shootings a week after the shootings in Georgia. A gunman walked into a Colorado supermarket and killed 10 people, including a police officer. This story is tragic, and I feel for the families of those who died that day. And yes, that sounds very melodic and robotic. But how else am I going to speak about this gun violence? You know. Then on Friday, if you thought that was bad, 2 people were killed and 8 injured in a Virginia Beach shooting. A shooting in Virginia Beach on Friday night appears to have resulted from a fight among a group of people. I mean, at this point, words cannot even describe what is happening and has been happening in America. The only suitable way to understand is with action. However, our government continues to do nothing. It has been a year since we have had a mass shooting in a public place, mostly due to COVID-19, but now we have had 3 in a week. Boulder, Colorado, Atlanta, Georgia, and now Virginia Beach. You know that old saying, guns don't kill people, people kill people? Don't blame my weapon and my Second Amendment. Okay, yes, Karen, you keep telling yourself that. I mean, I think we can all agree it's time to retire that phase. Guns do kill people. I mean, how many more massacres are we willing to accept before we get that through your heads? I mean, people do kill people. So do nukes, machetes, grenades, knives, and fists. Just imagine if the president of Iran said disputing international arms control treaties blared, "Nukes don't kill people, people kill people." he would have been laughed out because the fact that a human is needed to control a weapon isn't an argument against restricting those weapons. The point is, however, how incredibly easy a modern weapon makes killing. Enough is enough. Enough obfuscating. Yes, obfuscating. 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 Mind. That is a big word. That's a new word. Let's all say this together. Count of 3, 2, 1. Obfuscating. Obfuscating. Yes, try to use that sometime this week, shall ya? But look, until we do something, till we do something, and we stop listening to the bumper stickers, my Second Amendment rights, you can't take away my gun-worthy men, more Americans will die. So hey you in Washington, are you listening? Do something to prevent another massacre. Support gun control laws. So I was going to talk about the Suez Canal incident because that's absolutely funny. Pivot! But I think we can put that on the back burner. We'll talk about that next week. And end this week with a recap of what we talked about last week. AAPI hate. This past week, we saw large numbers of protests all across the USA in support of the Asian community. This is our Black Lives Matter movement, and it's time our voices are heard. Yes, my voice. Asian American activists are demanding equal civil rights, better education in schools after Asian hate attacks. There's a saying that I learned growing up. It's not what you learn from the history, but what you take from it. You learn from the past so you're not doomed to repeat it. Yeah, it was just something we grew up with. We were taught to mind our own business, not to rock the boat. What's different now is my generation is not sitting back. Even before the tragedy in Atlanta, people like me are now seeing fathers, mothers, and grandfathers getting beaten up on the street. That really hits home. That could have been my yeye, my baba, or my mama. Let me show you something. Let me show you my local community. See that right there? Yeah. That was a laugh. People found it funny that people are protesting in solidarity and in support for the Asian community. Not only that, but let's point out that one of the people works for Revolution Wrestling Foundation. You listening to this? RWF? Oh, wait. Yeah, you did. I guess the apple doesn't fall close from the tree, does it? Here's some advice. Think before you type, because things like this are online forever, and places like This Week Live with Rocky Red Panda are not afraid to let it known that RWF is very transphobic and allows all sorts of hate, including laughing at AAPI hate inclusion. I assure you, folks, there will be no hate, there will be no discrimination whatsoever on This Week Live and P&D Studios. And I will not tolerate it, especially when other people do it to others. This is no laughing matter. When an Asian man is beaten up in a laundromat and goes blind in one eye, when the Asian community in Philly fears for their safety, elderly being beaten up on the street, you think it's funny? I assure you, it is not. I'll end with the thought. Take a look at this video.
I just want to say that, I came to this country when I was 18, just finished high school, came over here. I went to U.S. Army to serve 20 years, active duty, 24/7, and retire. Okay? For too long, I have put up with a lot of in silence. Excuse me the language. Too afraid to speak out, fearing more abuse and discrimination. Yeah. Then when I came out of the Army, I said, I'm going to make it a better community where I go to, wherever I live to serve. I do my best, do what is right. And then, in the last few years, things are just getting worse and worse. But there are some ignorant people that will come up to me and say that I don't look American or patriotic enough. People question my patriotism, that I don't look American enough. They could not get over this face. I want to show you something. I want to tell you, because I'm not afraid. I don't have to live in fear, intimidation, or insults. I'm 69 years old, and I'm going to show you what patriotism, the questions about patriotism looks like. Here is my proof. This is sustained from my service in the U.S. military. Now, is this patriot enough? I'm not ashamed to walk around anymore. Before I felt inhibited. People look at me strange. And dare to question me my loyalty to this country. I don't look American enough. Now, last I read the U.S. Constitution, we the people, we are all the same. We are equal. Not this, you are more superior, you are not. We are all the same. We all have, even I have some mindless prejudice sometimes that I caught myself. Oh, I don't like the way you dress, it's not the same. But prejudice is hate. And that hate, it can be changed. We are human. We need to be kinder, gentler to one another, because we are all the same. We are one human being on this earth.
Prejudice is hate, and their hate can be changed. We are human. We need to be kind and gentler to one another, because we are all the same, and we are one human being upon this earth. That is one message that you can take from that video. I'll also leave with the same thing I left from last week. If you see something, say something. Don't sit back. Don't pretend it didn't happen. Do not laugh, because this is no laughing matter. If you see something, say something. Report it to the StopAAPIHate.org, because it's enough. This violence against the Asian community, my community, needs to end. Enough is enough, folks. So we'll be right back with this week's special guest, Longcoat Mafias, Chris Lumzer, after these messages. So stick around, folks. Folks, this is Rocky Red Panda, your host of This Week Live, P&D Studios, and illustrator at Panda Numeric Designs. Are you looking to get official This Week Live, P&D Studio, and pandanumeric design merchandise? That's right. Go to my website at pandaanddesigns.com, click on the shop, which will take you to some sweet, sweet stuff via my online Etsy store. All right, you guys, and welcome back. So this is exciting. We have my friend here, Chris from Longcoat Mafia. Say hi there, Chris.
Hello, everyone. Out in PNG?
PNDs.
PND land. Sorry, folks. Sorry, George.
That's perfectly fine. Yes, this is awesome. So, we're gonna. So, how have you been? Because I know you had some surgery issues. I mean, and some things happened in the past. Are you doing okay now?
Aside from a little stress right now, which I'm going to leave stress and drama, which I'm going to leave at the front door of both of our channels for the moment, because that is why we are here today.
Correct.
Is to kind of, we're not hindering on that. As for medical reasons, I know the last time we in essence saw each other, I was a little bit wrapped up in the back. I am fine, even though right now it still looks like I've been attacked by a Highlander, but I digress. I have for the folks that are tuning in, almost a year ago, I was in the hospital for because I came down with type 2 diabetes, and they had to drain some abscesses from the back of my, pretty much the abscesses were on my head. I had one vertical, I think it's the one that the vertical is up and down. Vertical, I still have it, but it's due to my hair growing back. You can't see the vertical scar. And I have two horizontal scars on the back, upper shoulder area.
Okay.
One you could still see. Actually, three. One's a very tiny one, but still, you could still see one in the rest. But my hair's growing back a little bit darker than usual and that's all normal.
But that's good, because I think you were excited that when you finally were able to get your hair cut. And I know a lot of people were worried when he says, "I'm going to the hospital." I was like, wait, what? A lot of people were worried about you, and I'm kind of glad you're doing a lot better. You seem more healthier, and that is the number one thing, is to be healthy and take care of you.
To tell a lot of folks in regards to that, it's like when I initially went to the hospital, it was my co-host that brought me, and I went to see him because we haven't, at that point, even though we meet up every now and again, it was a while since we saw each other, and especially with what happened last year, when he saw me at that time, I was at the point that in order for me to talk to anybody, even to the waitress, because we were at the local diner, I was literally forcing words out of my mouth. It was pretty much, hi, I would like, and it was like that. And he said, "You know what? After this, I am taking you to the hospital. You ain't saying no. You ain't telling me no. I am taking you if I have to club you over the head and drag your sorry rear end to the ER." And it turns out I was literally, if I waited any longer, I would have probably either slipped into the coma or slipped into the hereafter. If there is, depending on your religious viewpoint, the hereafter, in regards to that whole experience, I would have went on I would have, as my favorite saying goes, because I am a Dark Tower fan, I would have went to the clearing at the end of the path, to put it nicely. So
that's a nice way of putting it. So to get away from the sadness, let's
the sadness.
Yes, let's talk about Longcoat Mafia. So, how did you decide to get into podcasting? What was like your number one thing? It's like you just wake up one day and say, "I want to do podcasting."
Well, there were several factors going into it, because I know you'll probably you're asking, at least with the prelim questions you sent me in regards to how I came up with Long Coat Mafia podcast, at least the Long Coat Mafia name. So they were kind of one and the same. About 10 years ago, I was let go from the job that I had.
Okay.
And one of the things that I was playing around with was doing a street team.
Yeah.
And I figured you can't have a street team with a weak name. And I was thinking, you know what would be cool? Saying the Long Coat Mafia, bunch of a street team, bunch of folks saying we're the Long Coat Mafia. Here's a product. We want we're promoting on the street. Hey, I kind of guy in the back alley with a trench coat opening up. Hey, want to buy a CD or something like that. That sort of thing. That that aspect, just taking it on tongue in cheek, on rolling with it. And back in early 2015, about April-ish, 2015, I was talking to my buddy, who's also my co-host. We met up and we were just shooting showing the fat. I'm going to be polite. Showing the fat, and I said, we got to start recording these conversations again, and start doing a podcast. And he's like, you know what? If you do it, I'm down. And since the framework for Long Coat Mafia was there, I figured I might also use that instead of tearing it down or starting from scratch. I have it. Might as well use that. And one of the aspects of that is like I needed a framework. I needed a plan, an outline. And at that particular time, the podcast I was listening to, it's now defunct. Even though I've shared one or two episodes that were clean enough to put back out there into the ether, was Slacker and the Man. Their format was geek related and more of the radio style DJ, morning radio type of DJ aspect. And what I saw with them was, okay, at the 2-year mark, because at that time they just were about to take a break, which later became defunct. They lasted about 7 years, which for a podcast is wonderful. It's almost legacy, and it's rare that you hear an independent podcast last that long. And I was like, okay, I see that by year 2, they were doing X, Y, and Z. By year 3, they were doing, again, X, Y, they were doing even more. So I took that blueprint and I approached the guy behind it and said, listen, here's 2 good things. I'm thinking about starting up a podcast. I want you, in essence, because he was a friend a little bit.
Yeah.
I want your blessing. And you were like, cool. I said, all right. What software did you use? What hosting provider? Just getting some of the other frameworks and bring them in. And I set up from there. He filled me in. I said, also, if you come back, because you were at that, I don't know if he's, at that time, he was a former Tampa Bay police officer. I don't know if he was Tampa Bay PD or the county sheriff's PD. Yeah. And I said, because in essence, you're an officer, wouldn't it be great that every now and again there's a friendly rivalry between the 2 of us, me being, in essence, a crime lord and you being a sheriff's officer, going back and forth. Kind of, not to mention old school wrestling. Me talking smack and him talking smack, and but there's respect, and he's like, he pretty much did, I like that idea if it comes, but he hasn't made a comeback yet. But I continued. I tried to fill the shoes. Another longtime listener of the show tried to fill that shadow. So over the years, I have not, thanks to folks like Matt Burns, not only did I meet my goals, I beat my goals. And there are some goals I have not yet to reach, but a lot of the goals that I've set for myself, I have hit. So,
Well, speaking of Matt Burns, you were in the movie Bigfoot with him. So how was it being an actor?
um, I'll say this: it was a kind of a dream come true because when I was a teen in high school, I wanted to be in the special effect. I wanted to learn
Yeah.
special effects. But at that, because of my upbringing, my father was like, no, 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 you are no way of, trying to do that, and you're going to be, going to the medical field, like it or not. Um, it was mostly not a doctor or anything like that. It was going
Yeah.
to be either an orderly, a X-ray tech, or a nurse, one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And me being the idiot that I was at the time, I was like, okay, Dad, you know, because my choices at the time it was I wanted to do photography and I want to do special effect makeup. I wanted to go into the film business. So
Correct.
getting the offer from Matt Burns and helping out Matt Burns and uh, the corporation, the group behind Bigfoot was a dream come true. It was like, okay, you're now, instead of background actor number 5, you are lead hillbilly number 3. Read these lines. I was like, oh, okay, you realize not an actor. We don't care. Have at it. And it's like, okay, can I negotiate my price? And they're like, well, we can't pay you. I'm like, you do realize you're talking to somebody that will work for sandwiches? Well, we don't have sandwiches, but we do have an IMD credit. Even better, and and we shook hands, and I was in the role. I make fun of myself every time I see it. I make fun of myself
Yep.
in regards to it, because I've had people say, you're acting and it sucks. I know. Don't care. I was having fun. And will I do it again? Yes, I will. I'd be more than happy to help out. I'd be the runner. I don't care if I'm the guy just holding the mic up in the air. I don't care. I'm that type of person. I'm willing to help out.
I vaguely remember that because I had a memory show up on my Facebook feed this morning, and it was from that con. It was 2019. Oh boy,
You
who's
thought you muted stuff, didn't you?
I did? Oh, there's a Facebook open. Let's close you. I thought I muted things. Mind, folks, this is what happens when you're recording and you're semi live. So you have to mute things, but that's perfectly
Right.
fine. Yes, but I vaguely remember that con, and it was when it was still at Hagerstown. It was a 4th Day Pop and Comic Con. I was deadly sick. I don't know what. Sasha says you look like death, and when she says you look like death, that's not good because you look like you're keeling over. She's like, yep, fever is breaking out, everything, and then they're supposed to have the premiere of Bigfoot, and I wanted to go. It was in Frederick, but I couldn't go. So her friend Pony is like, oh, I'll go. I'll make sure everyone signs it. And I was looking, it's like, oh, there's Chris. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, good.
Sign it. Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird, it's like, we want you to sign this. I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm nobody, Miss Rossi's a bigger name than I am. Have her sign it. Have her sign it. I'm giving her more credit than me. Matt's done more work than me. Go,
Yeah, yeah. But I have to
not.
agree that it wasn't a fun. It's what I call horror comedy, and it was just funny at its best. And when all the hillbillies are just talking, it's like, well, I'm the best, da da da. No, he's the best, da da da. No, 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 he's the best, da da da. And it's like, wow, this is hilarious, and that suspenders work. I
It's.
cracked up.
I know. Start folks at home. The start of this. George said, my trademark suspenders. Part of me wants to. I know what they mean now in regards to the the colors of the rainbow. Um, I the thing is, as much as I support, LGBT rights and all that, and I would rather, coming from a Robin Williams fan, I'd rather, the more, rainbow suspenders with the buttons from the 80s. And it's just like, I don't want to, like, no, I don't want to come off and say, I'm a Robin Williams fan. I loved Mork and Ork as a kid. That's why I want to wear the rainbow suspenders. Like, well, that means you're knocking, LGBTQ folk. No, I'm a supporter,
really,
but I don't
because-
want. Yeah, see,
Look,
see,
this is
it's like
true.
I don't want to take away anything from a community, but I want to represent a comedian that always made me laugh. And it's part of a lot of the. It's a very obscure reference that you actually have to know. And it's like my gamer tag on Xbox Live, or I should say Xbox Network now.
Mhm.
It's a very 80s reference that nobody gets. It's like,
Yeah.
why do you call yourself Reverend Jim on Xbox Live? I'm a Christopher Lloyd fan, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what do you mean you're Christopher Lloyd? Don't you get it? When he in the 70s, his character in Taxi was Reverend Jim. So therefore, and it's the whole easygoing hulk and just wander off, just the laid back. I'm not in any shape or form a pothead or that type of laid back, but it's that kind of character he was, just laid back of, I'm doing things for fits and giggles, have a good time. And again, his character was Reverend Jim. So that was like, that's my thing. I'm here to have fun. So
That's the best way to have it. But for now, we're going to take a little short commercial break, and we'll be right back here with Mr. Longcoat Mafia, Chris. So stay tuned, folks. You are watching This Week Live with Rocky Red Panda, only on PNG Studios. Make sure to like and subscribe. All right, you guys, and welcome back. We're still here with Chris from Longcoat Mafia, which is cool. So what is one common myth about being a podcaster or someone that wants to work in your field that you wish to debunk?
I'll tell you all right now. I'll give you, you know what? For the price of one, I'll give you two. One is that we make money. No, we don't. I will say this: out of everybody, we don't make money. We're those. I do this for a hobby. Uh, the ones that make money are celebrities or those that have a bigger following. I'll give you this as an example. As I mentioned earlier in this interview with Slacker and the Man, at their peak of their show, they were getting 3,000 listeners per week, per episode. They were a weekly show. 3,000 listeners. They were approached by Audible. They had Audible as a sponsor. They made in 1 year, $250. $250.
Wow.
Not 1,000, not 250 a week, not 250 a month, a year.
Wow, that's
And so they're in essence not making anything. I don't make a dime on what I do. I spend more money out than I bring in. As a matter of fact, I don't bring in a dime at all for my show because a lot of it is the misconception of the myth comes from they hear about Joe Rogan, they hear about this celebrity or that celebrity having a podcast or a YouTube channel, or they hear about PewDiePie or Markiplier or some big YouTuber making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, if not millions. Therefore, because they make millions, you have to make millions as well, or you make thousands upon thousands of dollars a year. No. I barely, if I am lucky, I barely get 20 a week, 20 downloads, listens a week. Some are more popular than others. Like, for example, George, your panel that I recorded last year, I think hit close to 30, if not 40.
Wow, that's
Um,
impressive.
between 30, I could let you know after we record. But and like Donnie's panel last year hit over 150. Um,
Uh-huh.
I think the Go Vote episode I did last year hit close
Yeah.
to 160. The zombie episode I released last year, it was also close to 160. Stuff like that gains traction every now and again.
Yeah.
Or some interviews gain traction and hit have good numbers. Like before everything hit last year, I did an episode with a friend of mine saying the title was "Let's Go to a Convention: Fun Stories." It hit over 250 downloads over the course of a year, which is awesome. It's great. I love to see those numbers, especially seeing shows hit triple digits
Yeah, yeah.
and go that high. But we don't make that much money. And the other popular myth is you have to spend a lot in order to do, everything. Not really. You can do things on the cheap. Yes, you could record things with your smartphone. I use, an app called. I'm going to bring it up because it's on my home screen. It is called simply Easy Voice Recorder. That's as simple. It's a free app, literally free app, and I could record up to like 10 or 15 hours because I have a SIM card on this, which is fine. If I'm doing an interview, I'm back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But the downside is what I've come to find out is for a lot of folks, it's psychological. Even
Yeah.
though reporters use a smartphone, most people, unless they walk around with uh, a their press pass or their credentials hanging off their neck,
Mm-hmm.
most people, when they see me with a press pass, I'm a cheap butthead because I'm using a phone. So thanks to pawn shops
Yep.
and payment places like Best Buy and Amazon having payment plans, I've upgraded over time when I've had the money. In folks at home, you can do the same yourself. Again, if you have to use Easy Voice Recorder to start out with, and you can edit on your phone, edit on your computer, there are loads of free applications on your phone, not just your phone, for your computer too, that you could use to edit and do without costing a dime. Um,
Mm.
I run a YouTube channel as supplementary content. I use uh, it is Movie Maker, $10.
Yeah.
$10. I don't need. Granted, if you want to use Final Cut Pro or Adobe, whatever, fine. I'm not going to stop you. You know, but I'm just saying, if you want to start on the cheap, you have Steam Labs is cheap. These are free stuff that you can do that's available to
Correct.
everybody. Uh, and I promote that. That's one of the things I say I give as why I'm a hated podcaster is because a lot of my peers. Yeah, George is laughing. It's like I say I'm the most hated podcaster on the internet. I run the most hated podcast on the internet, and I hear from my peers, "Oh, you need a $300 Yeti microphone, and you need this." Like, I wish I could grab it. My first microphone I picked up on the cheap. It's a
Yeah.
USB mic. I use it to this day. It's my workhorse. I picked it up for $40. It was on sale on Amazon for $40.
Mm.
It's a USB condenser mic. The brand is a CAD-U37. Right now it goes for about $60
Oh.
on Amazon plus shipping. So you don't, and it comes with a cord and stand. As a matter of fact, the cord I'm using now
Mm-hmm.
for my webcam, this cord comes with it. It's like a 6-foot cord,
Oh, wow.
and the camera I've upgraded thanks to Amazon's payment plan. Using a Zoom Q8 camera microphone, which meaning it's a HD camera. It's more than I need for my show. and it doubles as a recording device, in essence, a quasi-professional recording device
Mm-hmm.
to get audio, which means I could plug uh, a XLR microphone to the back of it and use it for interviews. So guess what? I'll be using at some shows for interviews and capture everything. I just need one piece of equipment and one extra mic. That's it. I don't have to lug around 15, 20 pounds worth of equipment unless I have to. So
Out of everyone that you've interviewed, because I know you've interviewed so many people, who would be the most unique person you've interviewed? Someone that you would interview more than once?
um to give there's a loads of people I would interview more than once. I'll be more than happy to have Monique Dupree back on my show.
Oh, yes.
She's a wonderful
Mm-hmm.
conversation. She's a wonderful personality. I'll be more than happy to have Jesse Green back on the show. Uh, he's a nice guy, wonderful conversation. Um, I've had him on in character, both in character and out of character.
Correct, yeah.
But I'm going to cement my feet to the ground and say I'd rather have Monique Dupree back on the show all day, every day. I'm not saying that because she is a person of color, she's a woman, or anything like that. Because she is a very unique and very strong individual, I can't, talk about her enough.
Correct.
And I tell folks, because of who she is and who her family is, I feel like there's going to be let the folks that know at home. Her brother is Tony, the one and only Tony Todd. So I get this, this weird experience that or weird idea in my head that one of these days I'm going to go to mention that I'm going to go to convention and I'm going to meet Tony Todd, and I'm going to mention that on Facebook, and I'm going to meet Tony Todd and just hear, my sister told me all about you. And, and I'll be like, oh no, I'm sorry, don't kill me. But um, just her, she has this wonderful, free-spirited personality. I've had since I always butcher her first name, I always refer to her as Miss Rossi. I had her on twice. The first time I had her on was when was during my first convention coverage way back in 2015. The audio didn't come out well, so when she offered up to be on podcasts again, I said, you know what, come on back on. I'll be more than happy to come on. It's double duty. We could, in essence, more than happy to have you on. Number one, number two, why not? Yeah, it's better audio. So
Correct.
that was a wonderful thing. There's a few questions I could have asked her about, because I know at the time, I don't know if she wanted to cover it or not, so I'm not going to really bring that up now. So, but still, I'm going to cement my feet in regards to her. I think the person that would come in second, slightly ahead of Jesse Green, would be John Johnson, and he runs Darkstone Productions,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a wonderful guy, wonderful interview. And he told me, it's like, I thought this was going to be a half-hour interview. It turned out to be an hour and a half, and a deep dive into his shows, what he does, having Parkinson's and everything else. And it was just, and he's the one that started me. I want to say it was because of him. When I speak to other filmmakers and I watch their content, I review it in front of them, because I did it to him. And it's like, hey, I did it to him. If I did it to him, I got to do it to you. And I got to put you on the spot. And I usually get the whole, oh crap. hey, hey,
All
I'll
right.
do it to him. Go ahead. I'm
No,
chatting too long.
No, I'll just listen to you. I think that's awesome. You put people on the spot like that. It's like, oh, by the way, it's like asking someone. It's like, so what color underwear are you wearing? Is it pink?
I don't do that. The reason why I say that is that one of the things I picked up that one of these days, me and Sasha will be doing on the air. I don't know if we'll be on her show, my show. Is that I'm going to use these as a reference because it's right next to me. There's this thing called pod decks. It's to help podcasters get ideas, ask questions. I'm sure for somebody, they're helpful. For me, if you know what you're doing, you don't need them. But I got them in. I'm going to use these because these were a free sample. It's the game against downtime there for IT people because I'm not wandering all the way to get the cards.
Yeah.
But there were cards in one of the decks like to ask questions. What color is your underwear? What is your favorite body part? What is your favorite sexual? I mean, like if I'm interviewing someone like Monique Dupree, I'm not asking her what her favorite sexual part is or what her favorite body part is. That's rude. Number one, that is completely uncalled for. And a lot of the questions that were part of that one deck were, no, I'm not asking these questions, especially to somebody who might be, sensitive to that. And it's something, even if it was something like that, I picked up a deck. It's something that I want to do. And I'm going to preference it like we're doing this for fits and giggles because it's so awkward and so bad that they put it out. I want to do it. And I want to snag somebody that is of color and let them know it's done out of fits and giggles. And it's, again, a deck like this. And it's questions like in regards to taking away your black card. And I want to do it, because it sounds so bad and so wrong.
Yeah.
And that's how I want to sell it. It's like we're doing this because it sounds so bad and so wrong. It's either A, going to be awkward as hell, or B, funny as hell. So that's why I want to do this, because it sounds, I want to pull in a couple of folks that might be of color, see if they're down to do it.
Correct.
Just say, because it's like, and let them know it's like, this is either going to be as bad as it sounds or as funny as it sounds. You down? And see if they say, "Oh yeah, I want to do this. Bring it, because I want to be that type of person. It's like, listen, this is not done out of hate. It's done out of humor. I hope this is as funny as hell. And if it is as wrong as hell, I want somebody to call it out.
Yeah.
I want you to call, if this is as bad as it actually sounds, I want you to call it out. I don't want to be the one calling it out because of who I am. I want you to call it out. So
Sweet. I'm glad I'm glad you mentioned that deck. I was like, wait a minute, I know that deck. I don't have it yet, but it's on my wish list of things to buy because, when you're coming up with questions and things to ask people, it's like, do you be serious or do you be funny? And that's little things. It's just like, it's like you don't want to step on the wrong foot and ask the wrong question and be like,
right.
oh, I should not ask that.
I'll put this out there. I'll do a Streamlabs. I'll do a live stream on my channel with you and Sasha, and to go through those decks, and because they will be a wonderful thing to do. I know one of the questions that was part of one of the decks was interview your parents, and I was like, that beside the point. That's about, no. Some circumstances it might be a good idea. Other circumstances, no. My aspect is like, yeah, I could interview my stepdad. I want to say I don't want to use the word because a lot of people don't like using the word. I'll just say certified badass because he's a Vietnam vet. Two, he's a Purple Heart Vietnam vet. 3, let me tell you how he got his Purple Heart. He came back in a body bag. They thought he was dead until he sat up. to me, that's badass. And how did he wind up in a body bag, you might ask? A landmine went off near him, and he still has a piece of shrapnel in his skull.
Wow, that is
So,
pretty badass.
so he's kind of, in a way, he's kind of a badass, and he's the sweetest guy I know. So, and it's like, yeah, that's why I'd rather have, part of me wants to go to a convention down in Florida and bring him along so I could get a non-geek's reaction about a show and have his reaction on it. It's like, yeah, I'm interviewing my stepdad. Normally I wouldn't do this, but he's a Vietnam Pooper Hard, award-winning vet who I drove, used as a pack mule for a convention. But he's never been to a pop culture convention before, so that's why I have him on the show, to get his reaction. So I'm doing a reaction show with him. So that's my idea, my plan, but the card in upon itself. And if there's personal history, like with recent events, I know on last night's chat, as of this recording, you're, talking about with what happens with your, the Asian community.
Correct.
It would be a good thing to bring your parents on and talk to them about that aspect and to bring them on.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking that aspect. But it's something that you shouldn't be told on a card to do.
Correct.
That should be, it's like, if I know somebody, that's willing to come on and with recent events, yeah, I'll have them on. I have three rules on my show. George, when you were on my show, I told you those 3 rules, and I'll tell you folks at home those 3 rules. My 3 rules is, you could say in essence whatever you want. You could curse up a storm, but the only thing I will not allow is hate speech or any type of racial slurs. No.
Correct.
The only time I'll allow anything like that is the correlation to that is I had Sasha on way back in the day, and it was we talking to her about what she does, who she is, and I did it with her permission. It was stupid, questions people always wanted to ask someone who was transgender but were afraid to ask. So we had to go down that road to have those questions asked and answered. Were they, wrong? Yes, but they had to be asked to be answered properly and to find out why they were wrong. And that's the only time, and everything in the show was preferenced was, we're asking this question so one, you don't have to. We know they're wrong, but we're asking them to find out why they're wrong. And the second rule is my NDA rule, meaning that knowing George, who is part of a filming project right now, and if he was on my show again, I'd say, I know that you're part of this project. Everybody who follows this project knows you're a part of this project. But if you signed an NDA, you don't have to, and which limits you what to say. I'm perfectly perfectly fine with it. Just let me know that I can't. Just tell me, Rev, I can't talk about that right now.
Correct.
And I'll be fine. And I also use that as my anti-drama rule, meaning if I somehow cross the line or you cross the line, it gives you a chance to call me out, and it gives me a chance to call you out. Back and forth. It's a two-way street. And I've told folks that, hey, if you don't realize it right away, let me know as soon as we're done. We're cleared up. That way, we're all cool. We'll try to clear it up. I'll make a note of it, and I'll say something either prior to the interview, the call, like part of the intro that I do for the episode, or after. Meaning, say, after the closeout of my show. That way, people know that there was no hard feelings, that it was brought up, no hard feelings. And the third rule that I have is have fun. So
that's what I tell everyone. You're here to have fun, and wow, I'm making this interview sound like it's so serious. Why is so serious?
Serious
Yes. It's like, let me put a smile on that face.
on your face. Normally when I do stuff, I grab my little empty cup and I do the Bane voice like, "You merely adopted it. I was born into it, molded by it."
I mean, all I can do is I usually do Uncle from Jackie Chan's Adventures. Like, Jackie, one more thing. What?
Magic.
Where's my tea? You want Uncle to have heart attack? You need to go get Uncle T, and also go find Taru. He's supposed to find cure for
Research.
exactly.
And magic defeats magic.
Mimo Guegua find me out. Mimo Guegua find me out. Yeah, that's a funny show. I love it.
Oh, I love that show. That came out in like the late '90s, early 2000s. I watched it every damn week. I don't care.
I did.
I don't care. I loved it. I like Jackie Chan.
I just made it
like
for the
Jackie.
end. You know, it's like Jackie says. It's kind of like Sonic says. It's like Jackie, and he's always exercising, and kids asking questions. Like, how can I be just like you? Well, you need to exercise and eat right and become fit. I was like, I can't learn that from Chuck Norris, except he never dies. But that was the 90s. I love it. So, is there any advice that you can give to someone that's looking to become a podcaster?
Sure. One, again, don't be afraid of doing things on the cheap. That's number one. Number two, it's in essence, it's your voice, your show, your channel. Do with it. I love that. That's advice that was given to me. There is a YouTuber based in Canada. His name is Muda. He goes by, that's his first name. And I'm going to butcher his last name. The channel is Some Ordinary Gamers. He did a video way back a few years ago because he kept getting questions like, "Oh, I'm starting my channel, this and that." He started humorously. He said, "All in all, seriously, it's your channel, your content. Don't go by what I say. You have to mold it. You could start A and work your way B. Don't be afraid to experiment a little bit. Meaning if you find out creepypastas work a lot, then read creepypastas. You know, if interviews work a lot, do interviews. Mix stuff up. If everything does work well, do what's called a hodgepodge. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Don't be afraid of using. I'd say wait a little while before doing it. Don't be afraid of using retro episodes or reruns. Do a little bit of an intro before and after, so folks kind of know what's up. And don't be afraid to make connections and try to get yourself out there. I'm an introvert. I say I'm an introverted extrovert, meaning there are times that there's a switch. I'm going to use the 80s reference. Over the top, turn the hat back, the switch, whatever you need to do in regards to getting yourself in that aspect, and let yourself hit the ground running. Don't be afraid to, okay, damn it, this is not working. Hit the ground. Instead of going right, go left. You have to do that. It's going to be hard, but once you get into that habit, it's going to be second nature. And the best thing to do is, most people don't remember this little tidbit from, I'm going to use a Mighty Ducks reference, and that is, be a duck on water. Meaning, and the phrase is, George is smiling, and the phrase, I said that to my doctor, and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, you don't realize that, this is from Mighty Ducks," but still, I get to claim it as my own. But that it's still a great piece of advice, meaning when you see a duck on water, on the surface, that duck is calm, cool, relaxed, like nothing's going on. Nothing's bothering that duck. But if you look underneath, mass chaos, mass chaos. So it's like if you get, meaning also if you get a chance to interview the person you always wanted to interview on the outside, be cool. You know, I got this. Inside, oh my god, 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 oh my god.
Yep.
So yeah, geek out or wait until you walk away before you can't believe this. But things will also happen that are out of your control. Yes, fit happens. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. There's a reason why every now and again I say I did experimental stuff.
Correct.
You know, this is, you know, that's why a lot of times with some of my episodes, like I had this wonderful idea to do this. It effed up royally. This is the outcome. And I'll be the first person to share that with the world. If it's salvageable, I'll put it out there. I'll put the pretext and a little bit of a follow-up. My two favorite words that for my show is context and allegedly. And there's also a reason why I usually, when I start using those terms, I'm noticing that I'm about to use those two terms. I tell the few regular listeners that might be tuning in on a weekly basis, we're playing the drinking game today, folks, because get your drinks ready, because take a shot every time I use allegedly and for context. So, because, you know, you got to have fun with your audience somehow, you know, you bring them in. I haven't reached the level in regards to calling, you know, you hear some YouTubers and podcasters say fam or having a little nickname for their audience. My level is not there yet to do that, but eventually there will be. But for now, I have a few things that you know, I'm working on it. I'm grinding away. I've always, you know, I use YouTube as a secondary aspect of things. It's not my main goal or my main aspect, but I use it whereas, okay, you know what? I really want to talk about this. I don't want to save it for next week, or I don't want to save it for a special episode or anything like that. You know what? I got the camera, record. Hi, folks. I'm doing a vlog today. This is what I want to talk about, or switch up my computer, fire up OBS, you know, and kind of show folks why I'm talking about it. I'll do a grind my gears episode, or something along those lines of why I think this is a bunch of bull crap, or, you know, that sort of thing. It's what I'm not an unboxing channel in any way, shape, or form, but if I get mail in, I'll unbox it. I'll talk about it. I have like 2 or 3 videos I got to put together. One's going to be an unboxing / angry rant because I feel I paid way too much for what I got. So
I completely understand, but those are all fantastic sound advice. I mean, when you talked about ducks, the first thing in my head was like, I like your use of pop culture reference. And then I'm thinking, I was like, the best advice I could get parents, I was like, well, if it floats like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then it must be a witch. Burner.
Oh, I did that in the hospital, and you know, because they had me in the bed for a couple of days, and they want you to move and, you know, make sure that way you don't get blood clots, which causes more damage. And they had the physical therapist came and said, "Do you want to go for a walk?" And my reply was, "As long as we're not going in the cart, I don't want to go in the cart. I don't want to go in the cart." And it's like, I could go for, you know, like, how you feeling today? I feel fine. I feel happy. I feel happy. I don't want to go in the cart. And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "You haven't seen Mighty Python and the Holy Grail?" "No." "You uncultured swine." How dare you?
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. It sounds like my uncle. My mother used to tell jokes about from growing up. My uncle used to. He's an anesthesiologist, and he used to work in. He played horrible jokes on his on the other doctors. He said one in particular was there was a doctor who used to fall asleep, so he would put her on the stretcher, and then he pushed the stretcher into the psych ward. And when she wakes up, it's like, wait, where am I? or he would smoke, and he would just like a match and just let the smoke go underneath the doors and yell fire. Simple things like that. So I completely understand.
Me, because they had to put me under using anesthesia.
Yeah.
It was my first time ever going through like that. Oh God, it was a trip. It was like, you hear stories, and my first story was like, I hope I don't say anything embarrassing. But it was like seeing the mask go on, my face, and, hearing the docs and like breathe, count to 10. And it was like, okay, 1, 2, 3, this is not 3 hours later. Oh, what, why am I back here? What? Oh, I gotta shake this off, man. What the hell happened? What? And it happened twice, and just, second time's like, whoa, dude. Why am I going in slow-mo? Can somebody take me back to the room, please? I'm doing.
All right. And so lastly, where can people out there in D&D world, or however you want to call it, I don't know, people that watches my show, where can they connect with you online or find your show, Long Coat Mafia, and follow you?
I'd say the best resource to go to for all our links, even though I'm sure George will provide links in the description down below.
Exactly.
And while you, but the best place to go, because I'm telling it, is our show's website, which is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com, and it's all The Long Coat Mafia is all one word, no underscores, no dashes, no dots, hearts, emojis. It's all one word. I always put the links in the show descriptions that are posted up on the front page, even though I have to update the page, being a Slack butthead, but a lot of the links to everything that the show does is there. That's a great central hub. If not, you can follow the links down in the description down below. And if you like, as always, because this is a YouTube channel, if you like George's content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as liking the video. I want to see George beat the evil algorithms that YouTube tends to put out, and therefore his channel grows and everything out there.
What did Sasha tell me? It's you're only receiving 25 cents. Don't worry about the marks. I'm like, yeah. I know. But we also want people to support you. So, this is your time to talk. So make sure you support Chris and you check out the Long Coat Mafia, because I've watched the show. I've been on it.
On YouTube, just search for the Long Coat Mafia podcast. It is the only channel that comes up.
It should be. If you find something else, then you're on the wrong site, my friend. You're on the wrong site.
Besides, I'll give George the tiny URL that links to my channel. It will be in the description down below. So that way it cuts through the hassle for all of you. And as always, don't forget to comment on the show if you have any questions. I'm sure George will direct me to his comment section and have me answer any comments, because I do follow his channel. So there's that.
And vice versa. So that is awesome. Well, we want to give Mr. Chris here from Long Coat Mafia, want to thank him for being on the show. It has been awesome. And of course, everyone out there, thank you for sticking around with PND Studios and This Week Live. And of course, this has been awesome as always. It's been a fun week. Well, actually, no, the week actually sucked if you listened to the news, but we already discussed that now, did we, folks? Yes,
right.
We did. So, with that being said, this is Rocky Red Panda signing out for this week, and I'll catch you next week. We're going to have some awesome fun. We're going to do this all over again. Same bat time, same bat place. That's right. All right, till then, folks, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.